Hello everyone, myself Deepa Singh, working as assistant professor in Gyan Vihar School of Pharmacy, SGU, Jaipur. Today we discuss about ophthalmic preparation, and this we cover the introduction part and formulation consideration. Means what are the ophthalmic preparation? There are different types, including classification and how you apply, and which precaution is required during manufacturing or formulation of these ophthalmic products or formulation consideration, because these are also very sensitive, similar to a parental product. It should be properly manufactured in a sterile condition or bacteria free. Otherwise, it may be cause eye damage or any other problem, severe problem onto your eye. So in this condition, there's so many factors that are responsible to affect the ophthalmic formulation. So you take more precaution or extra care during manufacturing of these ophthalmic preparation. And in this lecture, we see that these ophthalmic preparation consideration and introduction part. It is a topic of industrial pharmacy, one subject, fifth semester subject. Before starting this lecture, you should know about basic object of this topic or learning object. In learning objects, you should know about brief introduction about the ophthalmic preparation. Means what are the ophthalmic preparation? Mainly eye preparation. In this, there are different formulation available for ophthalmic or eye preparation. It's known as ophthalmic when you apply or use for the eye. And in this condition, you should also know about the formulation condition consideration, means which excipient you used and how much quantity or required amount is for use in this ophthalmic preparation, and other than which condition you maintain according to eye preparation, because in previous PPT we see the parenteral preparation. In this, we already see that specific pH condition as well as more precaution and handling care or during manufacturing condition is more sensitive are required for similar in this ophthalmic preparation, same to as parenteral product. This is also very sensitive. You should maintain or manufacture your preparation proper pH condition or in a formulate in a proper aseptic condition or bacteria free environment. And next is type of ophthalmic preparation. So in this, you should also know about the different ophthalmic preparation or which type of the preparation ophthalmic are available in the market. Not only eye drop and eye ointment type. Other than different recent formulation is also available in your market for ophthalmic use. So you should know about all these type of ophthalmic preparation, the complete classification and subtype of these ophthalmic preparations. In this definition of ophthalmic preparations, ophthalmic preparation is the eye preparation. Means first you know about what are the ophthalmic. So ophthalmic is nothing but your eye preparation, or ophthalmic show that eye. So these are the eye preparation are sterile, liquid, semi-liquid preparation. Means it may be liquid form or semi-liquid form, but it should be in a sterile condition because you directly apply onto your eye, and it may not of a proper sterile condition or proper according to your eye preparation, then it may cause damage to your eye or any other severe problem. So in this condition, you should prepare in a sterile condition, and these preparation may be liquid or semi-solid preparation that may contain one or more active ingredient or pharmaceutical ingredient. Means these formulation don't have a single drug, or you can say that may have, but not surety. You can also formulate these formulation for multiple type of the drug or multiple drug or pharmaceutical ingredient that is intended for application of the conjunctiva and conjunctival sac or eyelid. Means you apply these drug or these formulation into your eye, and in the these are the site of eye. Maybe you apply this onto conjunctiva or conjunctival sac or eyelids, and this administration is depend on the type of the formulation as well as effect of the particular formulation. It may be single drug or multiple drug, or purpose of that drug, for which purpose or which disease. Next is unless the active ingredient itself has antimicrobial activity. And ophthalmic preparation supplied as a multiple dose preparation may include suitable antimicrobial agent, and the antimicrobial activity should remain effective throughout the entire period of the use. Means these ophthalmic preparation are mainly prepared for preparation or like those type which do not contaminate your formulation, don't take any growth of microbes or free from microbes, or provide the property as an antimicrobial. So for providing these antimicrobial property, we use different excipients or use those excipients who itself have these antimicrobial property. Otherwise, we add antimicrobial excipient for these property or to stop the microbial growth or free from microbe or sterile form. And in this condition, you add those antimicrobial agents which show stable formulation to the entire life or entire dose, not only single dose. It show antimicrobial effect, again it show contamination or microbial growth. So suppose your formulation should be for use of 1 month after opening, then it should be stable or free from microbes up to 1 month, not for a specific 1 dose or 2 dose or only 1 or 2 days. And there may be chances that this ophthalmic preparation is also a single dose formulation. In this condition, there's no antimicrobial is required. If necessary, then you can also add in a small amount. Otherwise, single dose ophthalmic preparations not require these antimicrobial agents. Next is the type of ophthalmic products. So ophthalmic products are available in a different types. And this first is eye drop. And in this eye drop, ophthalmic drop, or you can also say that eye drop. Means another name of this eye drop is ophthalmic drop and are sterile or oily solution, suspension or emulsion intended for installation into conjunctival strap. Means these drop is not in a single dosage form. This is available in different formulation or different state of formulation depending on the drug. And these eye drop may be available in the aqueous solution or maybe liquid solution, but all formulation should be sterile condition. Means aqueous sterile solution, or you can say that oily solution also administered into the eye. So these eye drop is also available in as an oily solution, suspensions, emulsions, and these type of formulation likely you apply in the conjunctival sac or conjunctival part sac part of your eye. Means these eye drop are available in different types: solution, suspension, emulsion, and oily preparation. And you apply these eye preparation onto your eye, that is conjunctival sac part. And in this, we are ophthalmic drop should be clear and practically free from particle when examined under a suitable condition of visibility. Means when you prepare this eye drop and check that quality or during quality control test, you should make sure that your eye drop should be in a clear condition, don't have any foreign particle or any microbes or any clarity problem or any visibility problem. So it should be free from microbes, and you should make sure during this evaluation of eye drop that it should be in a free from all these condition and clear solution. If it's not a clear solution, then you reject your batch or maybe clarify that formulation. So this is a condition that is required for the ophthalmic eye drop, that is it should be clear and free from particle when you examine in a condition or visibility test. Next is water for injections, should be used in the manufacture of aqueous ophthalmic drop. Means for manufacturing of water for injection or when you are preparing these eye drop, mainly in a solution condition or solvent, we are using water for injection as a excipient or as a solvent in this eye drop. Because water for injection is also sterile solvent, free from microbes, and don't contaminate or don't affect these eye drop. And the next is the preparation of aqueous ophthalmic drop requires careful consideration of the need for isotonicity at a certain buffering capacity, the desired pH, and the addition of antimicrobial agents and antioxidant, the use of viscosity increasing agent, and choice of appropriate packaging. Means single condition is not sufficient for preparation of this eye drop. There's a different multiple condition is required. And in this, we can say that when you are preparing this eye drop, you should take some consideration, which is very necessary according to eye. Similar to a parental product, these eye preparation should be isotonic in nature and maintain the isotonicity similar to eye tonicity. Otherwise, it may be show some dangerous problem into your eye. So first, very important condition that your formulation should be in isotonic condition or according to eye tonicity. And second is pH. Hence, pH is also required for your pH or your IPH. So if you don't formulate your formulation at that particular required pH, then it is also maybe show some problem. And you should prepare according to your IPH or in a tier pH condition. So these are the two very important conditions that you should maintain for this eye drop. One is isotonicity and second is pH condition. And in this, the additional of microbial agents are added for protection of this microbial group. And otherwise, there's a antioxidant. Some other ingredient is also used in this preparation of eye drop. In this, maybe antioxidant, viscosity increasing agents, and choice of appropriate packaging. Means these are the some important excipient with antioxidant, viscosity enhancing agents, and choice of packaging material, because packaging is also very important for this eye drop. If you don't pack in a proper condition or pack in proper container, then it may be affect your formulation or not compatible with your formulation. So proper packaging is also required for this ophthalmic eye drop. Next is ophthalmic drop are considered isotonic when the tonicity is equal to that of 0.9% solution of sodium chloride. Means not hypotonic or hypertonic solution is required for this eye drop. It should be isotonic is required, and for preparing isotonic, we already discussed isotonicity. In this, for preparing this isotonic solution, we should require 0.9% solution or sodium chloride solution for maintaining this isotonicity. And the eye can be usually tolerate solution equivalent to 0.5 to 1.8 of sodium chloride. We should require 0.9% sodium chloride solution to maintaining the isotonicity, but our eye has some capacity which can tolerate tonicity condition from 0.5 to 1.8 of sodium chloride. Next formulation is eye lotion. So eye lotion is also very important formulation or preparation for your eye preparation. And eye lotion are the aqueous solution used for washing for the eye, and the eye solution are supplied in a concentrated form and required to be diluted with warm water immediately before use. Means these lotion are have a thick in nature, or you can say that eye drop have not that amount of thickness as compared to eye lotion, and these lotion are also aqueous solution formulation or aqueous preparation, and this is in concentrated form. Means you don't use directly this eye lotion, and this is mainly used for preparation or washing of the eye. And for washing of the eye, don't use this formulation directly. You should require dilute because it is available in a concentrated form. For dilution, you use warm water, and this dilution is required immediately before using or after before applying. So these type of eye lotion are available in market. So these eye lotion is not applied directly because it's a concentrated form. You should dilute in a warm water, and these are mainly used for washing of the eye. And next is eye ointment. It is another formulation. In this, ophthalmic ointment are sterile, homogeneous, semi-liquid preparation. Means ointment are also sterile form. Each and every formulation for ophthalmic preparation should be sterile form, free from microbes, and should be properly maintain these sterile condition. And these ointment are homogeneous in nature. Means no two-phase separation or uniform of solution is observed. It should be a homogeneous and uniform solution and semi-solid preparation. We are discussing that ointment, so you should know about ointment are already in a semi-solid form. So these eye ointment are a semi-solid preparation intended for application to the conjunctiva and eyelid. Means this is applied in the two parts of your eye, and depending on the disease or type of this ointment, it may be applied on the conjunctiva or maybe eyelid on your eye. And these are the ophthalmic preparation available in the semi-solid form, in a homogeneous form, and they are usually prepared by non-aqueous base. Example, soft paraffin, that is Vaseline. Means in this mainly we use or say that main ingredient used for ointment is your non-aqueous base, and when we see these non-aqueous base, then this is soft paraffin we are majorly used, or liquid paraffin or wool fat also used. So these are the non-aqueous base that you can use for preparation of your ophthalmic ointment, maybe soft paraffin, maybe liquid paraffin, or maybe wool fat. And next is they may contain suitable additives such as antimicrobial agents, antioxidant, and stabilizing agents. So these are the another excipient that you use for manufacturing of these ointment. It may be antioxidant or maybe stabilizing agent or antimicrobial agents. These are the additives that you use for preparation of the eye ointment. And so we discussed already three types, and one is an eye drop. It is maybe available in solution, suspension, or aqueous solution form, and it is a sterile form. You can apply this onto the conjunctiva and take proper precaution. And if it's a single dose, then you do not use antimicrobial agents. Otherwise, antimicrobial agents are required for multiple doses. Second, we discuss about eye lotion. Eye lotion is and viscous, or maybe you can say that concentrated solution. You do not apply directly, and this is mainly used for washing of the eye. And before using or applying these lotion, you should dilute your formulation with the help of warm water. It is just required applying or prior to applying. And next, third, we discuss that eye ointment. So eye ointment is a semi-solid formulation. You apply these formulation on the conjunctiva or eyelid or of your eye, and this is manufactured with the help of non-aqueous base, or main ingredient of this ointment is non-aqueous base. In this we mainly take soft paraffin, liquid paraffin, and bull fat. And another excipient that we use for manufacturing of eye ointment is antimicrobial agent, antioxidant, stabilizing agents. These are the ingredients used for eye ointment preparation, and it is a homogeneous preparation. Next, fourth preparation is eye suspension. It is another formulation for eye. Ophthalmic suspension contains solid particle dispersed in a liquid vehicle. They must be homogeneous when shaken gently and remain sufficiently dispersed to enable the correct dose to be removed from the container. Suspension means already we can say that it's a solution form, but solid particles are suspended into the surface or into this solution. That's why this is known as suspension, and these suspension should be homogeneous in nature or particle dispersed uniformly. When we use this suspension, then we just shake, or before using you just shake, or and after the shaking, your suspension should be in a homogeneous form and proper dispersion is observed, and it should be dispersed in a uniform way. And in this container, it is mainly also multiple doses. Before applying this solution, you should take a required amount of the volume from the container, and the sediment may occur, but this should be dispersed readily when the container is shaking. And the size of dispersed particles should be controlled. Means when we are applying these suspension into your eye, so these particle size should be uniform, a small particle size, and compatible with your eye, because the large particle may show irritation or not compatible with your eye. So these suspension particle are should be uniform and small size particle, and you check all these particle size or the dispersibility. It should be easily dispersed or uniformly dispersed and form the homogeneous solution. It may be not, you can say that not a homogeneous solution, but prior to applying, when you shake this formulation, it can easily form the homogeneous solution and don't show any uniformity problem. All particles are uniformly dispersed in your formulation. And next is the active ingredient. Any other suspended material must be reduced to a particle size small enough to prevent irritation and damage of the cornea. Means you reduce these particle size in a very small particle size or fine particle size. That is enough particle size we require, because large particle size may cause irritation and damage to your cornea or your eye. And this is all about the eye suspension. Next is the contact lenses. So these contact lenses are the sterile solution used to clean and disinfect contact lenses. Means it is not a formula, not ophthalmic preparation, or you can say that not used for therapeutic purpose, but this is also important for eye preparation, or we are mainly using this for washing off contact lenses, because it's a solution for washing of the contact lenses, and these contact lenses you apply into your eyes. That's why it is also requires sterile form and don't that affect onto the eye or irritation. If it's not a sterile condition or bacteria containing, that it may cause irritation into your eye. So these solution should be in a sterile condition and properly manufactured in a sterile condition and free from microbes. And this is mainly used for clean and disinfectant the contact lenses. These are the requirements which is required for your ophthalmic preparation. So in this requirement, there's different requirement for this formulation of ophthalmic preparation. In this requirement, first is foreign particle. Means your formulation should be free from a foreign particle or no foreign particle unwanted material present in your ophthalmic preparation. It may be eye drop, eye solution, eye suspension, or ointment or any other formulation. It should be free from foreign particle and unwanted material. And next is viscosity. Viscosity is also sufficient that you can easily administer into your eye. If it's not a proper or it may be too much thick, then maybe cause administration problem or irritation into eye due to too much thickness. And next is tonicity. Tonicity, we already discussed that it should be properly isotonic condition and according to the tonicity of your eye. And you should prepare this isotonic solution with the help of 0.9% sodium chloride. There should be maintained tonicity according to your eye requirement. Next is the pH of preparation. pH of preparation is also sufficient. Or you should prepare your formulation according to IPH or TAPH because if it's not according to requirement or according to eye, it may cause irritation or maybe damage into the eye. So these eye preparation should be sterile and pH should be maintained condition. Next is the sterility test. In this sterility test, you sterile your formulation and free from microbes. There is no bacteria or microbes present in this formulation. So you should prepare a sterile formulation and free from microbes. After a sterility test, you should make sure that your formulation don't have any microbes or bacteria. It should be free from all the microbes and don't affect your formulation. And next is surface activity. Surface activity means your formulation should show required effect or required therapeutic effect that is require for your particular formulation or a formulating formulation. So this is all the requirement which is required for your ophthalmic preparation formulation. In this first is foreign particles. Foreign particle first requirement is in this all ophthalmic products should be clear and free from a foreign particle, fibers and filaments. This all ophthalmic product, maybe solution, suspension, all are clear and free from a foreign material. There's no foreign material is present or other than foreign material, there's no fiber and filaments are present. It is completely free from all the material or all the fiber, filaments and foreign particles. An ophthalmic solution should be clarified very carefully by passing through bacteria-proof filters such as membrane filter and sintered glass filter. If there is any foreign particle or any unwanted material or fibers, then you should use these formulation for sterilization or pass these formulation for sterilization. And this sterilization mainly be used filter technique because there may be some chances that some formulation may be heat sensitive. So majorly, we can also use another method, but majorly we use filtration method. And in this filtration, we should take some good quality filters which have very less pore size so that all these particles don't get filtered out. It may be remain in that filter paper. In this way, you can use filter papers like sintered glass filter paper. And the particle size of eye suspension should be in a unique ultra fine state of subdivision to minimize the irritation. When suppose you are preparing suspension or any other formulation, in this there are some particles are present, so you select or you should add very fine or very small particle size that is maybe compatible with your eye or don't show any irritation or redness and not show any administration problem, as well as during this filtration or sterilization these particles can pass through, but another remaining unwanted particles are remains onto the filter paper. And other than these, all the particles that present in your formulation should be in a stable condition with your eye as well as your formulation. And next is separate filter should be used for different ophthalmic product in order to avoid the contamination. Means you should filter in a separate paper or separate filtration is required to avoid these type of the contamination or these filter contamination of your product. Next factor is viscosity. In this viscosity, we check that your formulation have sufficient viscosity or it is not too much that may cause eye irritation or eye problem. So in this, we are checking proper viscosity of your formulation, and in this order to prolong the contact time of the drug in the eye, various thickening agents are added in the ophthalmic preparation. Means It is not a proper, very thin solution, but it is also not a thick solution or high viscosity. It should be in a maintained condition or required to have a proper viscosity condition. So in this, we are adding some viscosity agent or thickening agents that maintain the proper viscosity of your formulation, and these thickening agents should have required concentration that maintain proper thickness. And in this, mainly we are using polyvinyl alcohol, and concentration of these polyvinyl alcohol is 1 to 4%. And the next is polyethylene glycol and methyl cellulose. Carboxymethyl cellulose are the same, some of the commonly used thickening agent. Means these are the choice or number of the thickening agent or viscosity modifier that you can use anyone. Out of this, all these are polymer or thickness. In this, first is polyvinyl alcohol, second is polyethylene glycol, methyl cellulose, carboxymethyl cellulose. So out of this, according to your formulation and according to choice, you can use anyone, and but you should maintain the proper concentration. Not all the excipient are have the same concentration, that is 1 to 4. Some excipient may require different concentration because every excipient have a different property. So you should confirm these concentration of your excipient or your polymer for maintaining the viscosity. Next is the agent improve the viscosity of the preparation. And ideal thickening agents should possess the following property. And this maybe it should be easily filtered. It should be easy to sterile. Means after manufacturing, your formulation should be required number of steps or maybe passes through number of steps. In this, you should prepare this type of formulation which is easily pass these parameter or sterile during the evaluation. It don't show any problem. So in this, you can say that your formulation should be easy to filter, don't show any problem, or all the particle or foreign materials should be in a filter or onto the filter don't get passed. And it should be in a sterile condition, don't have any bacteria or any microbes in your formulation. Next, it should be compatible with other ingredients. Means if you are using another ingredient in your formulation, obviously some other ingredient are required for your formulation. In this condition, it should be compatible with each and every ingredient, don't show any problem or interaction. Next, it should be passes requisite reflective index and clarity level. Means it should have a sufficient or good refractive index or requisite refractive index, as well as clarity is also good. Your solution should be in a clear form or don't have any particles which can easily visible, or you should make sure that your formulation don't have any material. It should be clear solution and good visibility. Next, the thickening agent are not included in the formulation of an eye drop, eye lotion, which are required to be used during and after surgery due to some possible adverse effect on to the interior of the eye. Means if you are preparing some formulations like eye drop and eye lotion, in this these thickening agents or viscosity enhancer are not required, and you don't use this thickening agent in this eye drop and eye lotion formulation, because mainly we are use this type of formulation during surgery or maybe after the surgery. If you are using these thickening agent in your formulation, then maybe chances that it shows some more disadvantages or more toxic or adverse effect into your eye or interior part of the your eye, because you are applying after just or before, or maybe not before, during that surgery or during that operation. So in the eye drop and eye lotion, you should avoid using these thickening agents. Next is a tonicity. Tonicity is another requirement which is also very important for your eye preparation that you should maintain. And in this tonicity, ophthalmic product should be isotonic with lacrimal secretion to avoid discomfort and irritation. Means it should be isotonic in nature and according to isotonicity of your eye. And so it avoid or maybe don't show any discomfortation or irritation, because if you are using hypotonic and hypotonic solution, then there may be chances that damage your eye. So you should prepare always isotonic solution or according to lacrimal secretion, so there's no irritation and discomfort is observed. And it has been observed that eye can tolerate a range of tonicity from 0.5 to 2%. Means there's also tonicity limit for tolerance of your eye. This is approximately 0.5 to 2%. Don't exceed or don't less than this concentration. If you don't preparing isotonic preparation, then you should prepare with the help of this amount of a concentration only, 0.5 to 2%. Next is that there is a certain isotonic vehicle which are used to prepare ophthalmic products like 1.9% boric acid and sodium acid phosphate. Means mainly these isotonicity is maintained with the help of 1.9 concentration. 1.9 concentration is very sufficient for your eye and maintain the proper tonicity into your eye. And in this mainly boric acid and sodium acid phosphate buffer are used as a 1.9 concentration. Next is the pH of the preparation. It is also very important. It should be according to your eye preparation or according to your TA preparation, TA pH, because if you don't formulate according to required pH, then it is also show some discomfort or irritation problem. And this pH of preparation, pH play an important role in the therapeutic activity and solubility, stability, and comfort to the patient. Means if you are not preparing your formulation in proper required condition, then there may be chances that issue some therapeutic activity or therapeutic problem as well as solubility, stability, and discomfort to the patient, or these type of the problems are observed. And in this tier have a pH of about 7.4. I can tolerate solution having a wide range of pH, provided they are not strongly buffered, since tier will be rapidly restore the normal pH value of the eye. Means try to formulate according to IPH for less irritation or less adverse effect. So if you are preparing another pH, then it may be show as some irritation. But I have a very good capacity, then it can tolerate any other pH condition also. But it is not a good thing that it may be also show some sometimes some severe effect. So try to prepare. But eye capacity is good. It tolerate any other type of the pH condition or any other pH formulation. And due to this is because your tear is continuously secrete, and according to this secretion or tear, it can maintain easily required pH of your eye. Next, in this alkaloid salt solution are stable at pH 2 to 3, but this pH is irritation to the eye. Suppose you are require alkaloid salt solution or preparation of alkaloid salt solution for your eye, then in this condition, pH of this formulation is only 2 to 3 because it's stable only in this pH. Otherwise, it shows some irritation. Then, but your IPH is normally 7 to 4, 7.4. So in this condition, this shows some irritation problem or compatibility problem with your eye. And use this alkaloid salts, and these alkaloids get participate at the pH 7 and create a number of formulation problems. Means instead of showing eye irritation, it is also show some precipitation problem. When you administer this alkaloid salt into your eye, it converted into precipitation form show or maybe form hard gel or semi-solid gel, which is not compatible or don't release the drug from the formulation when you administer these alkaloid salts. So this is also one of the problem. Next is the sterility. In the sterility, ophthalmic preparation must be sterile when prepared. Pseudomonas aeruginosa is very commonly gram-negative bacteria, which is generally found in present of ophthalmic preparation. Means all preparation should be in a sterile form and properly sterilized. There is one bacteria that is very dangerous for your eye, that is gram-negative bacteria. An example of bacteria is Pseudomonas aeruginosa. So these bacteria should more harmful effect if present in your ophthalmic preparation, and it may cause serious infection of a cornea and cause complete loss of eyesight in 24 to 48 hours. Means these bacteria, gram-negative bacteria present in your formulation, then it don't show any light effect or irritation only, but it cause some serious effect or show some serious effect in this bacteria, or with the help of this bacteria, you can also lose your vision or your eyesight within 24 to 14 hours. So try to avoid these type of bacteria. If it's present, then you retard your batch or don't formulate these batch before that. You make sure that your formulation should be in a sterile condition or free from all the bacteria of these gram-negative bacteria, because it is a very dangerous, or maybe you can lose your sight of your eye or vision of your eye within 24 to 48 hours. Next is to maintain the sterility in multi-dose container. Means in this you are require some multi-dose container to maintain the sterility, and containing ophthalmic product in a suitable preservative is added. Means for maintaining this stability or sterility, you should prepare a formulation in a multiple dose, or maybe make multiple dose formulation, or you can say that you use some preservative for stable formulation or long time stable formulation, and these preservatives should be non-toxic, non-irritant, and should be compatible with medication. When you are using some preservative, before using this preservative, you should make sure about the property of preservative, how much concentration is required, whether it's compatible with your drug or any other excipient, or it may be showing some toxic or irritant effect into your eye. So all these tests or all the confirmation parameters required should be non-toxic, non-irritant, as well as compatible with medicament, that is your drug or maybe your excipient or complete formulation. Next, in this, ophthalmic product are generally sterilized and autoclaving by filtration through bacteria-proof filter and addition of bacteriostatic at low temperature. Means there's a different technique is used for sterilization, but try to sterilize at a low temperature. If you are sterilized at a high temperature, maybe heat sterilization used, then in this condition there may be chances that your formulation get degraded. So in this, mainly we use filtration technique for sterilization, or bacteria proof filter we are used in this. Or other than this filtration, there's autoclaving, means stream sterilization is also available, and it is also good for ophthalmic preparation. And other than this filtration and stream sterilization, another you can also use some bacteriostatic agent at a low temperature, means bacteria sensitive ingredient. Next is surface activity. Surface activity is a vehicle used in ophthalmic preparation must have a good wetting ability to penetrate the cornea and other tissue. Means if we are using some ingredient in a formulation, for example, in a suspension, not only suspension, but all type of the formulation have some particles. So these particles have a suitable wettability. When you administer the formulation, it can easily wet and can penetrate into your eye, and maybe in a cornea or any tissue, other tissue of your eye. So it should be have a good penetrability or wettability property of that each and every particle that you use in your formulation. Next is a certain surfactant or wetting agent added to form suitable for ophthalmic product. For enhancing the wettability or improving the wettability of your formulation, we are using some wetting agents or surfactant to improve these wettability. But you should check that these surfactant is suitable for your formulation, or also stable with your eye, don't show any irritation or any dangerous effect into your eye. So you can also use some surfactant to improve or enhance these wettability. Next is it should not cause any damage to the tissue of the eye. In this, benzogonium chloride, polysorbate 20, polysorbate 80, dicotyl sodium sulfosuccinate are some of the surfactants that are commonly used for this eye preparation. Means when you are using eye preparation, these surfactants in your eye preparation, then you should make that sure that these surfactants are compatible with your formulation, as well as your eye do not show any dangerous effect on your eye or don't damage your eye. And these are some example of surfactant that you can easily use in your eye preparation, because it is stable or don't damage your eye. And in this, there are example or number of examples these solvents. And next is administration of ophthalmic products. So in this, we are checking that how you administer these ophthalmic products. And these ophthalmic medications include drop, ointment, intraocular, disc, always considered sterile, and they are often prescribed following cataract removal and treat such much eye conditions like glaucoma and infection. Means different formulations are available. We already see eye drop, eye ointment, there's intraocular disc. So these all are sterile form and properly used in your proper condition, maybe in glaucoma or some other infection of your eye. And they are also used to soothe irritated tissue, to dilute and constrict the pupils and provide the anesthesia effect. Means other than this infection of glaucoma, you can also use for dilute or constrict the pupil, or maybe for providing the anesthesia effect in your eye. And because ophthalmic medication are available in a variety of concentration, it is important to assure that patient is receiving the correct one, so that the eye does not become irritated or damaged. This number of formulations are available. Before using or applying these formulations, you should make sure about that particular formulation, that it do not irritate your eye or don't damage your eye. And the cornea of the eye contain many sensitive nerves fiber that easily irritated. And when installing the eye medication, so do not install these medication directly onto the cornea, because there's a number of fibers or nerve fiber are present in the eye, and these are very sensitive. When you administer some of them, it may be damaged or some irritation problem. So try to avoid these type of formulation installing into your eye, or check that it is suitable for your eye or not. Next is a place drop, ointment, suspension, the conjunctival sac, and this area of the eye is much sensitive to provide a much appropriate site of installing ophthalmic medication. And so if you are using this type of formulation, maybe ointment or a drop or suspension into a conjunctival sac or area of eye which is very less sensitive, so you should appropriately install in this type of ophthalmic preparation. And before installing an ophthalmic medication, generally wipe away from drainage or discharge along the eyelid margin. Next is process of ophthalmic product installing. In this, we see that first formulation or contact lenses, and this is a next formulation for your eye, you can say that. And the contact lens is a lightweight corrective and cosmetic or therapeutic device that is usually placed directly into the cornea of the eye. Means it is lightweight or have a one chip like or one maybe patch like, and this may be used for cosmetic purpose or maybe for therapeutic device purpose, and it can directly apply into the cornea of your eye or directly place into the cornea of the eye. And these contact lenses have a many benefits for wearer, including appearance and practicality. And many people choose these wear contact lenses as opposed to eyeglasses and do not strain up, and they provide a binder field of vision, and they are more suitable for a number of sporting activities. Means most people are prefer these contact lenses instead of a glass or eyeglasses, and these are more suitable and sporting activity as well as showing good vision to your eye. Next in this contact lenses is sterile isotonic solution that contain hydroluminum, sulfabetadiene, poloxamine, boric acid, sodium borate, additives, diasodium. So these are the ingredients, sodium chloride and preservative, that is required for preparation of these contact lenses solution. And this solution is also isotonic solution that is used for washing or cleaning of your contact lenses. And in this, mainly we can say that dual disinfectant system are required: polyamidopropylene, bigonamide, that is 0.00013%, and polyquinone, that is 0.0001%. This is a very, very little amount of concentration. Next is the type of a contact lenses. It is available in two types, that is hard contact lenses and soft contact lenses. When we see that hard contact lenses, and it is made of a rigid plastic resin called as polymethacrylate, and it is permeable to oxygen and moisture. Next is the soft contact lenses. This may be hydrophilic, transparent, and plastic called as hydroxyethyl methacrylate. When it is a hydrophilic in nature, soft contact lenses, and prepared with the help of plastic, but hard is easily permeable with oxygen and moisture, and resin plastic resin contact lenses. And in this rigid gas permeable is a third type. In this, it is having advantages of both soft and hard contact lenses. This measure is only two, hard and soft. In this third, we are taking a combination of both hard and soft contact lenses. And next, in fourth one is rigid hydrophobic. In this lens has a good permeability and poor wettability. Next is a care of the contact lenses that you're taking before installing these contact lenses. In this, before handling contact lenses, wash your hands with soap and rinse and dry them with lint-free towels. And next is minimize contact with the water, including removing lens of it before using sieving or hot tub. And contact lenses should not be rinsed with stored in a water or tap or sterile water. And do not put your lens in your mouth to wet them. Saliva is not a sterile solution. And do not use saline solution and re-wetting drop to disinfectant lens. Neither is effective or approved disinfectant. Next is we have replaced contact lenses according to the schedule prescribed by your eye care professional. And fourth, the specific contact lenses cleaning and storage guideline from your eye care professional and solution manufacturer. And during cleaning, rub your contact lenses with your finger. Then rinse the lens with solution before soaking them. This rub and rinse method is considered some of the expert to superior method of the cleaning. And even if the solution are using in no rub variety. And next is rinse the contact lenses case with fresh solution, not water. Then leave the empty case open to the eye dry. And keep the contact lens clean and replace it regularly, at least every 3 months. And lens cases can be source of contamination infection, and do not use cracked or damaged lens in cases. So these are some precaution on care required before using these contact lenses and installing contact lenses. Next, in this continuation, don't reuse old solution or top of the solution in your contact lenses. And do not transfer contact lenses solution into smaller travel size container. This can affect the stability of the solution, which can lead to eye infection. Do not allow the tip of the solution water to come into contact with any surface. Keep the bottle tightly closed when do not in use. And if you store your lenses in case of extended period time, consult the instruction for the lenses or the contact lenses solution to determine if re-disinfecting the lenses is appropriate before you are wearing them. In case of any VR lenses, after storage of 3 or 4 days without redispecting. So these are the all about the ophthalmic preparation, including different formulation as well as contact lenses and how you apply and use these contact lenses, some precautions, and how much requirement is necessary for preparation of ophthalmic preparation. In this, we already see different requirement. Means after completing this lecture, you should know about these outcome in this brief introduction of ophthalmic preparation, including definition, all the properties, and all the complete information regarding the ophthalmic preparation that we already covered, and different formulation that is available for ophthalmic preparation, including eye drop, solution, ointment, or maybe another formulation that we discussed. And next is the formulation consideration. In this, we see the different requirement or different consideration that is required for manufacturing of this ophthalmic preparation. Next is type of ophthalmic preparation, including contact lenses. These are the outcome. Next is a reference part. In this, first is an Ansel pharmaceutical dosage form, drug delivery system, 8th edition by Lois V. Allen, Nicholas G. Popovich, Howard C. Ansel, published by VI Publication PVT Limited. Next is a textbook of physical pharmaceutical by C.V.S. Subramanian, published by Bhalla Prakashan. Next is a theory and practice of industrial pharmacy by Leon and Lackman, Sabas, Lieberman, Joseph Elkin, 3rd edition, published by Regressive Publishing House. Next reference is a Martin Physical Pharmacy, Pharmaceutical Science, 5th edition by Patrick J. Simcoe, published by Lippincott, William and Williams. So these are the reference for this topic. Next is a question part which is depend on in this topic. Test for antimicrobial presence is mandatory for A is gelatin, B is hypermalose, B is both gelatin and hypermalose, and D is not mentioned. Second question, the nature of preparation and ingredient and used. A is how does ionization radiation kill? B is the filtration and sterilization result in what? C is what are the formulation ingredient, and D is what does the sterilization method depend on? And second question, non-pharmaceutical additive. A is a formulation ingredient must be highest watt and lowest watt. And what parental is the most common for all injectable products? A process in which can produce low that loves the dry state. And D is since large volume of fluid is administered must did not contain. In fourth question, which property measure the resistance of a liquid to flow? D is the density, B is viscosity, C is volume, and D is the solubility. Next, in fifth question, what is the correct definition of pseudoplastic liquid? It is a liquid become a less viscous and rate of shear increase. B is a liquid which become a more viscous at the rate of shear increase. And C is a liquid which become a less viscous over a time when a constant shear stress is applied. D is a liquid which become a more viscous over a time when a constant shear is applied. And in sixth question, what is the correct definition of a solubility? A is the ability of a solid particle to disperse throughout a liquid in a continuous phase. B is the ability of a solid to dissolve into a solvent. C is the rate at which solid dissolve into a solvent. And D is the ability of immiscible liquid droplet to disperse within a second in a liquid phase. Next, in seventh question, what is the role of xanthan gum within a liquid formulation? A is a regulate pH, B is controlled viscosity, C is enhanced solubility, D is enhanced stability. In eighth question, which of the following liquid dosage form requires sterile formulation? A is eye drop, B is a spray dried to liquid skin, C is shampoo, and D is oral syrups. Next, in ninth question, titanium dioxide is commonly present in vanishing cream, B is sunscreen, C is aqueous calamine lotion, D is ophthalmic cream. 10th question is this result in solvent that may form when compounds sterilized using solvent. A is polymorphism, B is pseudomorphism, C is co-solvent, and D is amorphism. So these are the 10 questions similar to this formulation. You can easily answer after completing this lecture. So thank you so much for watching and listening this video. Thank you everyone.